right, welcome to the podcast. My name is Brian Balloon. I'm with Brian Balloon Photography. I'm the owner of Brian Balloon Photography. I have developed this podcast mainly for dancers and also for dance teachers, maybe even dance choreographers, so they can know a little bit more about Brian Balloon Photography. Also, just have some interviews with dancers, dance teachers, dance choreographers. You can have a little bit more insight into the photography world, also have more of an insight into the dancers world. And today, we're starting off our podcast with Seanna Shrestha. Seanna is one of my ambassadors for Brian Balloon Dance. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. So, hi, I'm Seanna Shrestha. I am 13 years old, and I dance at Eminence Dance Complex, and I'm a Brian Balloon Dance ambassador. And yeah.
Awesome. So tell us how you got into dance and why you dance.
So it's a really funny story. So my sister was a dancer, but then she quit to do like other activities such as like soccer and swimming. And then once Dance Moms came out, she wanted to be a dancer so badly. And so we're like 8 years apart. So she made me do like the craziest things when we were like 1 or 2. Well, when I was 1 or 2, and she would make me do the splits and like put my head, like my leg up to my head, and all those sorts of things. And I do have a really big passion for dance, but I also feel like she definitely like encouraged me to do dance as well. And I definitely would not be dancing if it wasn't for her.
Awesome. So like my son has a sibling. The older sibling is always influencing the younger sibling for things. And so it's and instigating things too. So pretty interesting. What would you say, like for people who are going into dance, they don't know as much about the dance world.
Yeah.
Can you explain more about your daily or weekly routine?
I feel like it's different for how like serious you are for dance, and also like the passion it comes from. And so I dance Monday through Thursday till 9 p.m. And I definitely have time for schoolwork as well. And my parents are also based off like school always comes before dance. And so it's good to have good time management also as well to like balance everything as well. And yeah.
Okay. So it's quite a long hours doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, what you said about balance is really key. It's really important. What would you say is your favorite dance move, if you have a favorite dance move?
So I love all types of dance, obviously, maybe not all, but I definitely love a lot. And I think acro is definitely my favorite and basically like my specialty, because when I was younger, I used to have it like a step, like just one step from my kitchen and my living room. And I would just like do the randomest things like aerials, like backflips off of it. And it was definitely like a long time till I like finally got it. And I know it sounds pretty dangerous, but I think it's good to also in the dance world to try new things as well and be able to like face your fears. And yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes. If you're on social media a lot, and a lot of dancers are on social media, especially Instagram, that's like a mecca for dance, the dance world I've found. What do you like to look at on social media? Like, what do dancers like to look at on social media? I don't know if it's like a generic thing or if it's just specifically for you.
I think specifically for me is I feel like when I see other people dance, it makes me want to dance just like them. And also, obviously there's different ways on how people can dance, and also like everyone dances in a like certain form. Like some people are better at like leaps, some people are better at legs. Just like it makes you want to achieve your goals even more and like to like want to do it. I feel like especially watching like dance reels, like convention like videos, and like just like the videos you make at home. And I think it's really cool that Instagram has like a platform, and TikTok as well. Like they both have a platform where you can just show off your like technique and all your skills.
Cool. And would you say like TikTok like is different than Instagram as far as the vibe, or is it a lot the same? Like,
I think it's the like same, because it both has like the same thing, I feel like, but just like Instagram has posts. But I feel I love social media as well, but like definitely it can be addicting. But yeah, I think it's like fun that you can like see other people doing things that they love also, and you can relate to that. And yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I know, like, for me on social media, like, I'm looking at other photographers' pictures because I'm a photographer. I'm looking at, like, there's some popular, things like on social media, like right now, like, I'm a dancer. Of course, I do the splits everywhere I go. And I'm a dancer, blah, blah, blah. That's like the thing right now. But I'm also looking at lighting. What are, some popular moves that are aerials, acro moves, things like that. What are some other dancers that I might want to do a photo shoot with? Can I DM them for a photo shoot? Different things I'm looking at, as well as getting my advertising ready and then posting stories, posting reels, whatever it is that I need to do consistently.
Would you say, like, seeing other, like, pictures, would they influence you as well?
They do. They do. Yeah. So, like, I have, like, a big saved list of pictures that I like, and then, like, there are certain schools that I will, I'll look at their stories a lot and just see, like, kind of what's happening at Eminence Dance Complex, what's happening at DV8, what's going on at Revel, or, these different competitions. How are my ambassadors doing as far as those competitions? What might be coming up as far as what they might want audition photos, what they might want, just holiday photos. So those types of things. And something that's kind of occurred to me is, like, I need to develop, like, a schedule of when things happen, so I know, okay, auditioning for a summer intensive is coming up, so maybe I should get audition advertising ready, things like that. And then when I try to contact schools, which I've tried to do by email, which isn't very effective, I found out, okay, it's better if I actually go to a dance performance, say, of one of my ambassadors, and then meet the people there, because I can actually develop more connections that way. And so I've done that, and it's been really helpful. So that's how I use social media. Do you have, let's go to, like, just a generic question. Do you have a favorite snack?
I'm definitely not a picky eater. I love all sorts of kinds of food, and basically my favorite, like, snack is definitely, like, Dots pretzels, because if you have a bag next to me, I'll probably finish that in a second. I'm obsessed with them. They're too addicting. Like, yeah. Okay,
I used to like Starburst a lot. Like, I would finish those, like, in probably, like, 2 hours or something like that. Like a full 1 pound bag, but that was a long time ago. Like, I don't do that anymore. Like, I like Mambas. I like fruit chews and things like that. I mean, those are probably, like, my favorite snack if I'm just snacking on something. I like fruit juice and stuff like that. Just fruits. That's just me. How about a pet peeve? What's one of your pet peeves?
I think the biggest pet peeve I have is definitely slow walkers. Especially at school, there'll be people walking right in front of me, and I'm just, like, trying to get to class, and I'm just like, please walk faster.
I can understand that. I walked fast when I was in high school. I know that people were telling me slow down, and when you get older, I think you're like more calm about getting to places, like I am, and so I'm like, there's that song by Sting, "Gentlemen Will Walk But Never Run." So I'm like, okay, be a gentleman. Don't, like, think you got to be running to every place or, like, really walking fast. Just walk normal, like you got it together. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Definitely, like, at the airport, my dad will be just, like, sprinting when we still have, like, 2 hours left, and, like, we'll just be sprinting to the gate, and I'm like, you can slow down, we can go get food, and especially my mom tells him that too, and he's always in a rush.
Yes. Let's see. Is dance a sport?
110%. Like, yes.
Okay.
I feel like, just, like, especially the movement of dance, also, like, it's, like, basically, like, the same, like, physical, like, muscles that you use with other sports as well. And I definitely feel that, especially, like, at school, there's always, like, people like, what's your favorite sport? And I'm like, dance. And they're like, that's not a sport. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even ballet has been considered one of, like, a very tough sport. even sometimes like tougher than football and that.
Yeah.
Because it really is an intense sport. And then I'm like amazed at people because like in general dancers, because they put themselves out there, you know, they are hard workers. They work long hours. They train a lot, you know, and then they're putting their bodies out there. People are seeing how they're dressed, you know, they're seeing, you know, they're comparing themselves a lot of times, even though it's encouraged that they don't, to other people, you know, but it's really more about, and I try to encourage people and say, you know, they shouldn't really look at other people and compare themselves to other people all the time, but compare themselves to their best self the day before, or, you know, their self a year ago, and see, okay, am I progressing in that way? Am I constantly, continuously, you know, learning, as compared to always comparing themselves to someone who's really high up there, and maybe they're not up there quite yet. I'm a dance photographer, obviously, so I like to create amazing photos for people. Do you have a favorite photo you could?
Yes, I do. There is like too many to pick from. I love like literally every single picture that you take.
Thank you.
But I would definitely like, I definitely love the one that we took in Grapevine. I just think like the background was amazing.
Awesome.
And like the way you took it too, like the angle and the quality was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll put that up there so the viewers can see. I think my favorite one, it was like the very first one that we did at the beach.
Yes,
there were some phenomenal shots, and I remember editing those shots and like just the clarity of those photos, and just the way I edited them. Like I really liked the very first one. It was really awesome. I mean, like it was like, yes. Where did you grow up? Like, what's your kind of a little bit of your cultural history?
So my parents are both from Nepal, and so basically my dad came when he was 21, and obviously he met my mom and brought her to the U.S., and so they both lived in Nebraska and had my sister 1 year after they got married, and then my sister begged for a little sister or a little brother, and then 8 years later, then I came, and yeah, so basically we lived in Nebraska for like the longest time. It was recently our 2-year anniversary of coming to Texas. It was definitely really hard to adjust, but also like with dance, I feel like it was good for me to like find new ways other dance teachers like taught as well. And I definitely had a hard time when I came, and I feel like for everyone who moves, I know like people move way more than I do as well, but I feel like if you look on the bright side, then like there's always a better picture than the way you're looking at it as well. And yeah, so I think that it's good to look at everything in like a positive way instead of like, oh, I moved and now I don't have any friends. And like, and just like, I won't lie, I did cry a lot for like moving processes. And I just feel like I shouldn't have wasted my time on doing that, and would have like went and played with the neighbors or something, or like hung out with them. And I definitely should have I definitely made friends really fast as well, but I definitely was like, oh, I miss them. Like I miss everyone from Nebraska. It's not the same, but also sometimes change is good. And
yes. Looking at in a positive light, you know, because, you know, you're going to meet new friends. You're going to meet new, and you'll always have those friends back in Nebraska, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a great, just new possibilities, you know, whenever you move somewhere. I know my wife and I, like, we met more than 17 years ago. We got married. She was in Romania and I was in the United States. And I met her online actually. And then she moved here to be with me. And so she is an immigrant. She's now a citizen. But it was difficult for her coming over. I will say for years it was difficult, and I didn't have the support system over here that I know that she has now when she first came over, and that was tough. So I have a lot of respect for people who come from different countries, and then they are able to achieve what they do over here. Kind of talking about your past, let's kind of go into the future a little bit. Where do you see yourself going in dance? what would you say, like, in a couple years, 5 years maybe, where would you like it to take you, or where would you like to bring yourself?
So I feel like my biggest dream is definitely to be a lawyer, because I feel like
Okay.
just like the way they do things, like I feel like it's just a cool job, just like because they defend other people for their rights, and
Uh-huh.
and but also like I would never want to quit dance. I would love to be on Broadway one day, and
Okay.
yeah, I feel like that's such a cool experience, and I just want to continue dance forever. And even if like I become a lawyer, I would still continue the dance process.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, maybe like even like start a dance studio, obviously, to like on top of that as well. And
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, like with me, I have like a choral background. So like in high school, in junior high, high school, college, like I was in chorus. I even started my own little a cappella group in college. And so like music was my thing. In Indiana, I was in symphonic choir, like the main Indianapolis symphonic choir. And then I came here and I was here in the Dallas Symphony Chorus for a season. So like that was my thing. So dance was kind of something else. Like later on in life, you kind of like, well, why don't I try this out? You know, why don't I try to being a dance photographer? And then I've also thought about, well, why don't I get into dance myself? Like I took a semester of dance in college, at a community college, jazz dance, and I liked it. So I'm like, well, maybe right now, I might, in addition to photography, find an adult dance class and maybe get into that again, and then see how that goes and be one of them, see how that goes. So that might be pretty cool. I might try that out.
so you mentioned you were in chorus. So how'd you get into photography? Like,
Okay, so I was kind of on and off taking pictures until about 5 years ago. My wife had a camera, and I just decided to go to a studio, and it was like a photography studio, and one of my friends who actually did our 10th anniversary pictures, she was going to be at the studio, but she ended up not going to the studio that day. But I went over there with my camera. I just had the intent of meeting people and learning more about photography. And what ended up happening there is I met some Instagram influencers, and they were photographers, and they had an Instagram page. And then that's how I kind of learned about photography more, like how I can get into it more. And one of them actually invited me to a Instagram meetup. I didn't know anything about Instagram meetups at the time. Like, what are Instagram meetups? Like photography meetups. And it's actually like where you can go and you get together with a bunch of models and a bunch of photographers, and you take pictures, and then they post them to Instagram. And I'm like, oh, this is new. Like, and I didn't even have to pay for this. And I was like, really? Like, and I can just like post these pictures and like I can edit them, and I can see how other people edit them, and I can post them. And I didn't even know much about Photoshop editing and everything. I just wanted to get better because I saw that I could do this. And I was like, I didn't even know I could ever do something like this, let alone for free. And like some of them were professional photographers. And I'm like, I'm one of them right now because I can just take these pictures and post them. So anyway, that blew my mind. And I'm like, okay. There were other meetups that happened. They kept on happening. I just kept on going because I liked it so much, and then posting the pictures and then getting better and better. And I would follow, like Unmesh on Piximperfect on YouTube. And then he would have tutorials on how you do, different things in Photoshop. And I was like, wow. And he would go step by step, and that was like really cool. And so about 2 years into it, after being on Instagram for a while, I developed I liked seeing a lot of dance photography pictures. I would see photography from Candidly Created or JPZ Image, and I'd be like, wow, like this is really cool. Like I would love to take pictures of people doing dance, and so I was like, how do I get into this? And so since I already was doing some photography work with some models, I would say Instagram models, and paying some money to do photography work for them, I reached out to one First one was with Texas Ballet Theater. It was Farby, Alexandra Farber, now Alexandra Light. And we did a photo shoot, and she's a principal dancer. That was one of my first photo shoots. I learned about Pas de Deux Conference, which is a dance photographer conference. And that's how I got into it. So, but I really it's an energetic area to be in. It's artistic, it's expression, and I really enjoy it. It's awesome.
Do you have like a role model like that you like look up to, like maybe in photography or like maybe at home, like any?
My dad was an entrepreneur. He owned several fast food places. He also owned a printing shop and a computer company at one time that sold computers to the state of California. So I'd say, and as far as business-wise, I look up to my dad because he taught me a lot about being an entrepreneur and kind of how you put yourself out there and, you take chances, and sometimes you're able to get ahead. Sometimes you can't, but, more often than not, it pays off. And then also my wife, having come from, Romania over here, and just how much she's learned. I mean, she right now does home improvement, but she does a lot of projects, a lot of like jobs, little jobs that involve, home improvement. Yeah. And so she didn't know all that. She learned a lot from her dad because he did a lot of work on building their houses and over there and that type of thing. She really has been really just amazing as far as being able to learn all of this. She didn't want to have to pay people to come over and do the labor themselves when she could save a lot of money herself by learning how to do it. And so YouTube was her friend a lot. She puts up drywall. She's actually taken a house and learned how to kind of flip the house. So she's like her own Joanna Gaines. And so my wife has been a big inspiration to me also. Yeah. It's been really great having you on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And for all of you out there who have tuned into this podcast, again, my name is Brian Balloon. I'm from Brian Balloon Photography. We do photo shoots for dancers, also portraits. If you're a school out there or a company, contact me at brianballoonphotography.com, and we'd love to do photography for you. If you're a dancer and you'd like to be on this podcast, just contact me also. Thank you so much for watching, and you take care.